welcome to the Scratching Post, where we scratch at that gaming itch. Excuse me while I just bend down to pick something up. Fine. It's fine. I wasn't just literally eating right up until the very last minute that the stream started. I wasn't. It's fine. Everything under control. God, I have time for it these days. Oh. I thought I was going to be into, as I was just hammering, as I was just wolfing down a sausage just before the stream began. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Common Debts Podcast. My name is Ebac, and welcome to the Scratchy Post. We scratch the gaming itch, and of course, you're here because it would normally be the last Tuesday of the month when we stream, but of course, last week we had some issues, so we backed it up to this week. And so, welcome to the 3rd of October. It is Halloween month, and everyone loves being spoopy. Of course, our spoopy episode will actually be on the 31st, which, for the record, you are welcome to join us in costume. I will not be in costume, but I I don't men on me. No. I have a Ghostbusters robe. So everyone, as I introduced, my name is Ebac, and what is the show? Well, it's
we comment densely about shit.
Yeah, we comment densely about it, and
occasionally video games.
Basically, I am, of course, I gather my friends. We all talk this shit about what's on our mind in terms of video games to a loose structure, a loosey goosey structure.
There is a structure, but
it's kind of more like it's kind of more guidelines more than an actual kind of rule. Sorry.
Like gender, the structure of this podcast is very fluid
and complicated.
Yes, or gaseous.
I am a brick sliding around in a bath.
Okay, so we're going to kind of stick into the simple topic which we always start with, what have we been playing this month?
Oh boy.
Yes, I mean, Burr and I could talk about one particular game in particular, but I think I want to save that. I'm going to do what I always do, Shadow, and just deer in headlights style. Hello.
Not this time. You I am prepared because I was thinking about it. I've actually been. I played Play Farm, a recent sort of farm simulated game that's been released recently. It's more magic. It's like it's like one of the normal like farming sims these days, except this time there's magic, and it's a great concept, just poorly executed. No. Like I don't want to talk too much about it, and I don't want to shit on the devs too much because the thing about Fae Farm is it's got a lot of problems. But there's heart in it. Like it definitely feels like this is the first time that the devs have tried this. They had a lot of ideas, but just couldn't execute all of them really well. And that they tried. They've really tried, bless them, but they've just not managed to do it. That's why I don't really want to shit on them or anything, because like they really tried. They really tried. And I want them to try again. Like keep updating it, lads and lasses. I'm pretty sure you'll get there eventually.
They're trying as hard as this part of my beard is to grow long enough to reach my actual tie.
Yeah. But the game I have been playing the most at the moment is there's Palia, which is a MMO currently in beta, which is basically it's kind of like Runes. I don't really want to talk about it too much because I've not really gotten into it. Probably next podcast. But the game I have been playing the most is actually Pokemon Crystal, which I would be playing on my Nintendo 3DS if I could buy it. Oh wait. So yeah, I've been emulating it, and it's been great. emulation has been really fun because every time that the game gets really shitty at me, I'm just like, ha 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 ha, load save.
Yep.
Load save.
I love games like that. It's like, oh, what's that? I made a save. What's that? You won't allow me to save until the end of every level? That's fine. I'll make a save right here, right now, in the middle of the game, with all the items I've got. And like, I've used. Have we? There was a game which I was literally where when you would fall down, you'd have to basically go all the way around the houses to get back up to the point where you have to try the jump again. Eventually have to join that twice. Thought, let's go make a save state here. So if I fail to jump, I can just reload, then just try again immediately. And it's a fucking godsend.
What I've been doing is basically like throw Pokeball, Pokemon gets out, reload, constantly reload.
You cheeky. I never tried actually.
There's this coming, and then there's that.
In fairness, I am in the early game. I have barely any money. I've only got a set amount of Pokeballs. Every one counts. And remember, this is Crystal.
Yeah.
Before you've got any experience for catching Pokemon. So you were literally disincentivized for catching Pokemon more than all you needed for your team. And then didn't give a shit.
Not just that, but in the older games of Pokemon in those days, there was a limit to how much money you could earn.
Yes.
So, you can't waste all your money on Pokeballs because there's only a set finite amount of money in that game. So
yeah. And also the fact that you don't get the experience share until past Mahogany Town kind of fucking sucks, not gonna lie. I hate that. There's no Crystal is great because you can definitely see it's gold and silver, but just a bit extra. And there's actually quite a bit in Crystal that I noticed has been copied over into the remakes, the Heart Gold and Soul Silver, which is really interesting to see, especially in the unknown in the Ruins of Alp, which I've just gotten into, and I'll show these guys after the podcast. If you guys want to see what's in the Ruins of Alp, you'll have to emulate the game yourself. I'm not going to tell you.
The Commandant's podcast also gained a mascot recently, and unofficially, in the form of Burr's most recent addition to the family, which is Burr's cat.
Yes, the noises you can hear in the background is my cat Sawdust, who's finally regained her mojo because she's had a serious problem because she fell off the cabinet that I did not even notice, and she was just very moody and upset and in pain for most of the weekend. And today I've been to the vet with her. She got a few jabs, and she's regained her former self, and now she's just thrashing about where the both of you are and around the room, so you can hear that in my mic.
She's the little.
Yeah.
Right, Lemming, what have you been playing? Actually, no, was that everything you've been playing, Shadow?
Yeah, that was literally it.
Lemming.
I've been playing Cyberpunk. Because that's hit its 2.0, and it was always good. I enjoyed it, but it's better, it's less buggy, and I've restarted my save.
Yeah, I have to admit, I not played any of Phantom Liberty, but I did boot it up for the first time today in Forever, and was playing a little bit about it just after I'd had my bath and for the stream. And yeah, and to be fair, I'm looking at it, I'm like, there's a lot of good quality of life changes in here, and a lot of visual kind of changes that just make the game look a bit more polished. And I'm like, we're kind of at the stage now where the game should have been at launch, which is it kind of sucks that the game had to go through what it did, shall we say, to get to the stage. I blame corporate greed, as I often do.
Corporate greed. It's running through the entire game, including the development.
Yeah, and bonk everybody on Twitter who says like, Cyberpunk was always good. No, it wasn't.
No, I enjoyed it at release.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
It wasn't good.
It had a lot of good things. It wasn't all good.
It's definitely flawed.
One of the changes that I very much approve of is that you don't need to run around finding hypostims to keep yourself alive. They just regenerate. You get 2 to begin with, and they just are on a countdown timer, and you use them again. Same with grenades.
That's nice.
You're no longer going, oh, there's a grenade.
That's-
I was my previous save. I was hoarding hundreds of grenades, just going. I keep forgetting to use these. But now it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, it's a cooldown. Toss.
I
Throw.
don't think I ever used a single grenade.
Yeah,
now
because-
they're just
You need
on
it
a cooldown.
later.
Yeah, because I need it later. You know.
Yeah,
Why
it's on
not?
a-
What if?
Yeah, now they're on a
Yeah.
cooldown, so I just like, I'll just throw one into a room before I go in.
Because now, if I'm not using it, I'm
Yeah.
wasting the time I could be cooling it down. You know.
I also heard that the perks and improvements of skills and of your modifications are much better, much more interesting
They've
now.
redone the entire perks tree,
Top to
all
bottom. Yeah.
top to bottom.
Because they were absolutely boring when
Oh.
I was playing this game.
Now they are much more fun. Like there's things that were like there's this perk that allows you to jump out of a speeding car, or like if you get the upgraded version, you can like slide out of a speeding car.
Oh
You-
snap!
there's a-
That sounds super cool.
There's one where you can where effectively if you take down an enemy after they just spot you, it doesn't alert enemies because you basically judo chop them before you take down. There's all sorts of go on.
Sorry, no. You finish up and then I'll ask.
Well, I just like the fact that a lot of these are like tangible things rather than because originally the game, I don't know if you would agree with me, Bern and Lenny, the original game was kind of like the perk was plus 10% to damage or plus 10%
Yeah, it was like you can reload your weapon 5% faster with each upgrade of this perk. It's like, fuck you, this is so boring.
yeah. Well,
And they had the same problem with Witcher 3, where the perks were also this kind of incredibly boring.
Yep, and even if you had a previous save with the 2.0 patch, not just for the DLC, the entire game got overhauled. They basically went, we've reset all of your character upgrades now. Start from scratch.
they basically just reset. They basically give back all your perk points, and like what I just thought about is there's a perk that allows you to reload while sprinting and sliding, and if you upgrade it, you can then shoot when running and
great.
sliding. So yeah, they're tangible perks that mean things.
Yeah. So I have to ask, Lemming, is it a No Man's Sky style glow up?
Yes,
Excellent.
100%. Thoroughly
Yes.
recommend this now. I haven't reached the DLC. I'm only like a couple of hours into the game after playing it over the weekend. But yeah, also I've installed one mod, which I will not be playing on stream.
Oh, dear.
This is a mod for me.
Oh, do you mean it's the mod that always appears first?
No, it's the mod that lets me romance Rita Wheeler.
Oh, fair enough.
One of the
Makes sense.
bouncers of the Moxie Gang's bar.
I always had a thing for Judy. I just like Judy. She's so good.
Yeah.
I will say I will offer a counterpoint that I will call Steam out on its bullshit, because Steam awarded CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk earlier in the year the Public Support Award, which basically is a game awarded for post-launch content and supporting a game post-launch. I will point out that they gave this to Cyberpunk, which of course is only getting the one DLC because, of course, of all the patches it's had to go through pretty much. And No Man's Sky never was touched with that award.
Yeah.
Despite
With the award for No Man's Sky, it's actually, much,
No Man's
it's
Sky is
much
good.
bigger than it was.
It's like
Yeah.
really good now.
Yeah. And I just think it's a travesty the fact that that game it doesn't get recognized for the improvement that it did at that point.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. Anything else you've been playing, Lemming, or is that it? pretty much?
Just the normal bit of Escape from Tarkov here and there. I will be playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 now that it's come to Steam.
Nice. I have to admit, I might pick that up myself because I used to play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 back in the day. Wasn't a skater guy or any time. It just I like those
No.
games.
He wasn't
I'm
the
just- I'm
skater
wait-
boy.
I'm waiting for the next DLC for Power Wash Simulator.
Oh, the DeLorean one.
The DeLorean and the Warhammer 40k one.
I'm waiting for the DeLorean one.
It's like, come on, give it.
That will be. To be fair, I need to buy Power Wash Simulator because I think Scarf's got a thing where all the weird blasters are going to be doing it with him in Power Wash Simulator, which I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
Just remember that your water pressure has to be so big that the water has to reach the speed of 88 mph.
Yeah.
Dear me.
But that's it for me right now.
All right then. Burr, you and I got one we can share. Is there a game other than that you've been playing?
I will give you that game to talk about.
No, we should both talk about it. So I'm going to give you.
Okay. Yeah, but before that, may I scream on stream?
Sure.
Mortal Kombat! It's back.
Thank you.
It's back and it's awesome.
I love how Lemming removed his headset and I just removed the one from my hearing ear.
And I just fucking like a fucking woman. Cowards.
My headset's good enough that even when it was here, I could still hear you.
Yep.
Yeah, oh my god, Mortal Kombat 1, such a blast. I did not think it's gonna be this good, but it is. It has the best story so far. And if you've ever tracked the story of Mortal Kombat games, you know that it's so absolutely bonkers. That's already been rebooted twice.
Twice.
Jesus. Oh yeah.
And it's absolutely genius. It's so great, and the characters that are being shown in the story mode are so well fleshed out that, unlike most other Mortal Kombat games, there's a lot of fan art. That kind of fan art on Tumblr.
Of course.
So it must be good. Yeah, and the modes and the looks and everything is just absolutely astonishing. I've been playing a lot of that game. I've pumped, I think, more than 60 hours into it, and I loved every moment of it.
Shows the quality.
It is super fun. Yeah.
Great, fantastic. I mean, I've got Mortal Kombat 1, which anyone who's wondering why it's called 1 is because it is a reboot. It is setting things back to
a reboot. Yeah,
it's a reboot, but it's kind of like it's not just starting things at the original point. It is reimagining some details.
It is because the previous reboot we had is the retelling of the original story, just with slight changes.
Yeah.
We just moved back in time, where this one is just rebuilding everything, rebuilding the whole reality from scratch with all kinds of changes that the 13-year-old me was writing some of those in my fanfics, and now I'm like, oh my god, I did write about that. I did want that. Now I have this. It's so cool.
Fantastic. Anything else other than that?
Oh, other than that, there's the game that I was playing a demo on one of the Next Fests, and I wanted to play it. And then you started playing it because you were also hyped about this game.
Yes.
You were so interested, so invested in it that I decided, yes, it is time for me to also play it.
Yeah, Sea of Stars. So it's a JRPG that was released by Sabotage Studios, the same people who released The Messenger, and a few years ago, which is one of my favorite kind of indie games of all time. Great game, and I recommend it to anyone who can stomach those kind of games. And yeah, it's a JRPG set within the same universe. It acts as a prequel to the entirety of the Messenger. Even though you don't need to have played the Messenger to appreciate it, which is good. And yeah, great game, great pixel art, great soundtrack. In fact, the song on the intro, the Dance of a Thousand Suns, is one of those pieces of music.
The soundtrack is absolutely brilliant. So was the soundtrack to the Messenger, but this one, it cranks it up to 11.
It does. Absolutely. Yeah, it pumps it up to 11. And
it's just like the soundtrack for Messenger conveyed really well the sort of Ninja Gaiden-y, platformy themes and the mood. This one is really strongly conveying the JRPG vibes.
Very much so. I'm not a fan of JRPGs, but I really enjoyed Sea of Stars. It has a lot of quality of life within its combat and its gameplay that a lot of JRPGs are missing, and I think they could learn from. Great game, heart-wrenching story. It is very deeply investable story.
Oh, there was one point where I wrote to Shadow and eBay, like, I've reached this particular point in the game and I don't know what to do with myself. I have to take a break.
Yeah. Shadow were you watching as I played that heart-wrenching moment, Shadow? Yeah.
We like legit made me cry, kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
The game made me cry several times.
Absolutely. There are moments that make you cry of
And
joy.
laugh.
There are moments that make you cry of laugh. There are moments that
Mhm.
make you cry the most sad, depressing, morose tears.
It's kind of melancholy for me because
Yeah.
I think for me it would be my RPG of the year, and I would put it saying that it has a chance of winning Game of the Year
Mm.
if Baldur's Gate 3 wasn't a thing.
yeah, the
Which
problem is with
the
this
problem-
game, there are so many good
Yeah.
games.
Yeah, and that's not to knock on Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 absolutely does deserve Game of the Year, in my opinion. Full stop. So I've not even played it, but I've seen it. I've seen it. It seems to like well, we're talking about like my idea of what Game of the Year should be. But we're later on when I get to the main topic.
Yeah.
But it's
But the title of second best RPG this year
Yes.
is kind of not as cool.
well, I wanted to win Best Indie Game. That's why I wanted to win. Best
Yes.
Indie Game of the Year.
Absolutely.
I've also have you played anything else, Burr? Just before I move on to what I've been playing.
No, actually, that's the two games because I've abandoned Baldur's Gate 3 for Mortal Kombat, and then I swapped from
Mortal
Mortal Kombat
Kombat.
2. Yes, I swapped from Mortal Kombat to Sea of Stars, and I've been playing those two games.
No problem at all. Sea of Stars, highly recommend from both myself and from Burr, and from Shadow as well. I think if she would recommend it,
yes.
go and play it, buy it. It's and also if you're on PlayStation, if you're on PlayStation and got PlayStation Plus, it's on PlayStation Plus. But buy it anyway. Support
Yes.
Sabotage Studio. It's a great game.
What was really funny
yes.
is they had was it like a monthly projection that they smashed within a week?
Oh yeah, they expected to make 1,000
Yeah.
sales in a year. They smashed it in a couple of weeks, which
And they
is
were like,
But,
okay.
okay.
but let me do some plugging of friends. If you don't want to play the game yourself, but you
yeah.
want to see it, our friend Weird FTW is streaming it soon.
Yeah, Weird FTW is streaming it tomorrow, and if you
Yes.
want to wait for some voice acting, thank you very much for the plug there, Shadow.
Yeah.
So Weird FTW, he's streaming it tomorrow, and we're doing it on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. And the City of Voices crew will eventually be getting to Sea of Stars as well after we do Investigations 2
Yes.
next. So that'll probably be at some point in 2024, probably early 2024. Unless we just blitz through Investigations, but we'll see. We'll see. I of course have played and finished Blasphemous 2. I'm not sure if I talked about that last month, but I think it swayed into this month. I played that, absolutely loved it. I actually prefer it to Blasphemous 1. Great game. But the game which really surprised me, which I actually finished just last night, so it's very fresh in my memory, is Tachia.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
I thought you already.
I've played Tachia, but I've not finished it. I've had it on the go for a little bit. It's one of those games which, if I want a relaxing experience, I'll sit and play it. Now, I'll go out on a limb and say it's not a game for everyone. Like if you're wanting explosive action, non-stop stuff, it's not the game for you. It's much more of a relaxing environment based in the Caledonian Islands, where you kind of your own raft and you sail around. There is a story, a quite surprisingly dark and almost kind of quite dark story. In this, I was quite shocked at how the directions the storyline went towards the end. And quite, it's like, wow, the art style looks really cute and cuddly and very very stylized, but I did not expect it to go this dark. And yeah, I highly recommend, again, on PlayStation Plus, buy it if you can. But it's not a game for everyone. I do highly recommend people to, if you ever see it on sale, for like a $5 and you're unsure about it, pick it up. If you're kind of interested in it, go check it out. It's a great game. It's a nice kind of game just to sit on and just I like to say it's the wholesome leisurely GTA, because you've got this whole island to explore, missions to perform, no one gets hurt.
Set on fire.
Yes.
Yeah, weird ribbon monsters to set on fire. But the main mechanic,
If you've always wondered how it is to be a rock.
yeah, one of the mechanics for anyone interested is that you can possess animals and items, and literally you use them as mechanics. So one of the things I often do to get around is inhabit rock, fling rock, which means you fling it out of your body into distance, immediately engage in soul power and go into the rock you've just flung. So you suddenly, wee, Team Rocket's blasting off again style, or you could just take control of a bird flying direction, or take control of a dolphin and just swim around. It's a really nice kind of wholesome game. A lot of collectibles, but nothing like I would say like if someone really devoted it, you probably could get it done in a day. I would say definitely the storyline you could do probably probably with at least 3 hours or 4 hours. Quite short, but it's it was enjoyable and again surprisingly dark for a game that looks very cute and cuddly. Right. So that pretty much is all I've been playing this month, and of course Cyberpunk.
Time for news.
Time for the news, and
some of it will not be depressing. Hopefully.
Yes. Some of the slot came to me and say, "Oh, I want to do this, but this topic is more relevant." I'm like, "Fucking, it's our news, you know." Talk about what you want to talk about. It's that's the whole point of the show.
It's our podcast. If we want to talk about fucking OCs that we made in character creators, we could do that if we wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, this podcast is made for us to basically get on because we just would shoot the shit after hours of just.
Yeah, we used to play Squadrons every Tuesday, and every evening we'd sit and talk, and we would talk until midnight or the next day or whenever. And then it was just like, hey, we should probably do a podcast.
Yeah. Also,
you can make a religion out of it.
Also, did you guys know? No. Did you guys know that Squadrons released 3 years ago today?
Yep.
Yeah.
We've been friends for 3 years. That's insane.
Well, I've known Lemming a bit longer, but all us four as a group have known each other for that time. And shout out to our friend Doctor as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. So news. I'll take the lead on this one because I think probably the biggest one, which is what we'll talk about, is how to inspire unity. How to inspire unity, at least when people are unifying people against you. So
how to inspire unity, just not in the way you expect.
So you probably, if you're here, you know what happened. If you don't, let me fill you in. Unity is, of course, is an engine that is used by many game designers, including a lot of indie game designers, because, of course, creating engines.
And is used in universities.
And is used in universities. I made a game in Unity at university all those years ago when I made got my degree in game design. So yes, I know how to use things in Unity. The problem is, and Unity is a software which you purchase a license for any user on that, which is not a cheap thing to do. It is worth pointing out. It is a very expensive process. We're talking thousands of dollars for users within a company. And now, or at least originally, Unity decided, you know what? We want a better slice of that pie. So going forward, which we're going to prorata that, so anything already done counts towards it. If you earn over, I think it was $500,000 or 100,000 downloads, you now owe us.
It wasn't downloads; it was installs.
Installs, correct? Right. Installs, because that was a point of contention. I think you had to pay them. I think it was $2.99. 20 cents. Sorry, 20 cents. So you think, oh, it's just 20 cents. But the thing is, that's per install.
Yeah.
So
now there's also counted for if you uninstall the game and reinstall the game, or if somebody
has 2 devices
the game and installed it,
or ran a bot script that meant it installed and uninstalled and installed and uninstalled repeatedly.
Yeah.
But even when you get this for legal reasons, if a game.
Oh yeah, and I also would like to say it also applied to streaming games like RuneScape. So as soon as you ran the client, that counted as an install.
Yeah. If it's a mobile game, if it's a browser game, every time the engine is reloaded, because the mobile reloads it, that's an install. And that's 20 cents.
And bear in mind that you think 20 cents is not a lot, but that's when you think that is quite a lot. Now, especially if you consider downloads. I remember the best example I once heard, which I would see if I can try and find the source.
Try Rami Ishmael. He might have.
Yeah, many companies did do recalculations that said, we released this little game on Unity. We sold like 200,000 copies. They were installed about 5 million times. We would have to pay Unity 150% of what we earned.
What we've actually earned, yeah. Like I think there's an example where it's a free to play game on the phone app, but of course you have in-game purchases.
Yeah.
According to what this company said, is they said if we were to go by these rules, like by the time we surpassed that metric, we would owe more than the money we would have earned from in-game sales. Meaning that at that point you're and it now naturally the entire community, and when I say the entire community, I mean not just the game development community, but pretty much the gaming community in general just blasted Unity with negativity energy rays, because this was, and I still remain colorful, bullshit to the whole thing. I mean, you're double dipping already. You're charging people for use. Like, if you didn't have, like, if you say, oh, okay, we're gonna get rid of the subscription fees, you can download Unity for free and use it to make your game for free, such, then maybe I would a little bit understand why you want to get some revenue back. But you're already paying them for being paid for the licenses. You're basically saying, I want a piece of the fucking pie that you're getting.
I don't want to make some money. I want to make
all
of
the money. The exact same problem, which leads
congratulations, now you're doing no money.
Now you're earning fuck all, because a lot of companies took this in stride.
A lot of companies, a lot of indie companies came swinging.
And quite a few game dev universities are now trying to step away from Unity as well.
Yeah, so
if educational institutions are stepping away from your tool, you have fucked up.
Fucked up. Yeah. You really fucked up.
As a culture came together, screamed to the heavens, and summoned the almighty no.
Yeah, couldn't put it better myself.
Yeah, and the thing is, like,
bad.
Unity is irreversibly fucked itself, because now that even if they have walked it back, they have said, okay, we're not going to do that. It's going to be fine, guys. It's going to be fine. Please.
It was just a prank, bro.
Just a prank, bro. Just a prank.
Like, you've destroyed trust. Now everybody, every contract that people make with you is now potentially a live bomb, and everybody's going, I don't want to. Yeah. Like, there is somebody on Twitter called Rami Ishmael who is, I think he's the head of Lambert, and he does consulting work on video game contracts and stuff like that. And he says a lot of his clients are coming to him and saying, I don't want them to do a Unity on me. And when your name gets irreversibly attached to pulling a fast one, that's not good.
Yeah.
That's a bad thing.
Let's put it this way. Yeah. Google love it, the fact that you don't have to see, but when you say I want to search something, you're going to say I'm going to Google something, because it's branding, it's also recognizable. This is the opposite of that, when you don't want your name associated with a certain action, and now your name is being used as a verb for that. That's not fucking good.
Yeah, and the thing is, in the short term, people are turning away from Unity. I mean, Relogic, who I did not know had the funds for this. Relogic of Terraria fame came in and said, yeah, we're gonna, we don't like that Unity's done this, so we're gonna give, like, it was something like 10,000 quid to Godot and another open source game engine. I'm gonna keep giving because Unity's a piece of shit. I did not know that Relogic had fuck Unity money. Let me just put that out.
It was $100,000.
$100,000. That was it. And but the thing is, so the short term, they've hurt themselves. In the long term, they've broken the university pipeline, because they were the game engine that was in universities, not only just like all over the UK, in the US, all over the place. And now universities are turning away. Now, as Rami Ishmael pointed out, this is not going to be an immediate thing. Nothing in, like, educational institutions are highly bureaucratic, so everything takes time.
They have quite an inertia.
Yeah, there's going to be quite an inertia to change. But so you have like you'll have like several more waves of students coming out having learned Unity, but that pipeline's going to stop at some point.
But when they have to re-up their contract with those universities, or when the universities have to rebuy their subscriptions, it's like, well,
Yeah,
it's just
nah.
well, the thing is, like, you upset a hell of a lot of game developers, and they turned away from Unity and they're using Godot or like Unreal or something else. Why should we be training our students in a game engine
That no one
that
uses.
nobody's using
Yeah.
anymore?
Yeah, precisely.
You've got a rep now. I can't handle it.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's like, you had a good thing going. You had a good fucking thing going, and then you're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna piss it away for some extra
Yeah, I mean,
money.
it was Unity was the original like newbie friendly game development engine. It could do everything simply, and it was great. They had when it started off, it had the downside of its store was used for asset flips. Thankfully, that's gone the way of the dodo. Bye bye asset flips, go away. We're going to keep kicking you every time you try and come back. But
Get back in with the NFTs.
yeah, and then they went, okay, we've got rid of that. We're actually a decent game engine. Make games with us, and they've spent the better part of a decade building themselves up and saying, yes, we're an actual good developer now. We have some consumer goodwill. Brilliant. And then they piss it down the drain.
They destroyed their entire company overnight.
Yep. I can't help but wonder how its stock prices crashed.
I
Never
badly.
looked that up.
They had a bad time. Let's put it that way.
They had a bad time.
Yeah.
Um,
Anybody with stocks in that, I am sorry.
and
Also not sorry because you're a
There
stock trader, but
was, yeah, there was some. There might have been some insider trading.
yeah, there
Yeah.
might be
Yeah,
some
there,
trading.
there
little
have
bit.
definitely
Little
been.
bit.
I'm still surprised that none of the like CEOs, vice presidents, etc. None of them lost their jobs. They're still at Unity.
I'm more shocked that no one saw that. Like, no one looked at this idea and said, this is a fucking terrible idea. We're gonna get our feet raked
No,
over the coals.
No, they did.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why they were okay with it, because they already made a boatload of money selling all their shares.
Yeah,
Well,
one is inside the training. Sorry, go ahead, Shadow.
I was just going to say that they underestimated the thing. They thought that people would be cross for a little bit, and then it would just die away, and they could just keep going on.
That's what they hoped on. That's what all companies hope on in these circumstances.
But the other thing is, though, that most of the devs, most of the employees in Unity, in the company itself, they were all loudly saying their complaints and saying, call it what it is, calling against it. They were almost universally, they were saying, this is a horrible idea, don't do this.
I think what annoyed people the most, especially when communications came out, was that Unity was acting like in their communications like that devs were overreacting. It's like, it's gonna be fine. I don't know why everybody's complaining. Like, don't overreact. And that's the thing. Just like, bro, no. Don't tell the devs their business. They know their business. Saying that they're overreacting or like they don't understand, like, oh, they understand. They understand very, very
better
well.
than anybody.
I mean, I am yet to be shown a person who
didn't
react, who enjoys being told that they're overreacting and should calm down.
Not just that, but I'd be like, show me someone who looks at this on that side of it and says, oh yeah, this is perfectly fine and reasonable.
There was that one GameIndustry.biz article that was pretty fucking hard.
Yeah, but who owns them? That's the question. Who owns them?
That's the thing.
Who owns them? Two, who owns the journalist that wrote that piece?
Yeah.
And three, do they really have anything to do with the game dev? Because I've heard of game journalists that don't care about games at all.
Well, no, okay, I will put my neck out for GameBiz. GameBiz is a legitimate.
In fairness, I'm not criticizing GameBiz itself. Like, usually that site is fine. It's just that one article was definitely bootlicking by the author.
Yes, I completely agree.
I thought reputable sites like that had editors.
Yeah, but there's always money involved.
Yeah, and also
also clicks and clicks. if it's a
Also,
controversial thing.
you always in every event, in every industry, and in every institutions, you have the sort of sacred cows that can do whatever they want.
Yeah, the
I mean,
record.
the Unity CEO, for example.
The record. The opinion piece was contributed because they contributor by Carol, spelled with a K, Severin, for the record. That was the quote unquote bootlicking article that I would call out here on stream. For quite frankly, saying, I think the quote I will say is, Unity's pricing is a symptom, not a cause of tougher times ahead. And
Make
Times
it
ahead.
good.
We're already in tough times.
Yeah, and I will talk about that as my news piece, but let's.
so on. But no, generally speaking, the community rose up, fought against it. Unity is back down, although, in my opinion, Unity has universally fucked themselves in completely.
They killed the golden goose.
They literally have shot the golden.
Their
They've shot
universal
their golden
goodwill
goose.
is gone.
You ever heard that story about the But I think it was from the messenger about how they keep there was this pumpkin farm. They kept on growing these gem pumpkins, and they kept on the little gem pumpkins made of gems, and they used to sell it. Used to be great. And then one year they decided that means there must be like a gem mine under there, and so they dug up the entire ground, found nothing, but of course ruined the soil. So therefore they would no longer ever grow a pumpkin ever again.
That's similar story.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened there.
It's like the Adeptus Mechanicus in Warhammer 40k. It's like, we don't care how it gets to how it works. Don't fuck with it.
Yeah.
Leave it alone.
I mean, if
Don't
a project
innovate,
is
that's
if a project is being maintained for longer than a year, it has like 50% of it is like that. Don't touch it because we have no idea what it does.
Unity, where did you think you made your money from? Unity!
All right then, Shadow, what you got for us for the news article front?
So, in a very depressing. So, if you thought the Unity debacle was depressing, guess
boy.
what? Everybody's getting fired! Yay!
Yay!
Okay, so we've had several major layoffs in most of these industries. Starting off with with the Embracer Group's troubles, who I'm not going to say very recently, but of recent, they were going to have a 2 million. No, it wasn't 2 million. It was a $2 billion deal with. It says unknown partner in this article, but I think it's the Saudi government, and that fell through for them, which is unfortunate because they've been on a buying spree and bought up a lot of a lot of game studios, including Volition, which made Saints Row, who have now closed.
And Red Faction.
And Red Faction, yep. So Volition is now RIP. Gearbox is rumored to be up for sale from Embracer as they try and claw some money back. I'm pretty sure.
Oh joy! That goes Star Trek Online potentially.
Look, a big corporation overstretched and then something failed.
Yeah, I think I don't have it on these articles right here, but I'm pretty sure other companies under Embracer lost staff. I think Creative Assemblies had a bad run.
It's a shame because we
KO'd hyenas.
It's a shame because we were sat here like praising the Embracer Group for their innovative, like forward thinking about like their idea of preservation and such, and then of course they get fucked up. Which, to be fair, they got fucked. I mean, yes, okay, they shouldn't have been doing all this if they didn't have the money, but it sounds like they did get royally screwed over by whoever fucking decided to pull out at the last minute.
I mean, I wouldn't like sign deals with the Saudi government,
No.
but we don't know.
Well, moral reasons on top of everything else.
Yes. Well, they don't tend to like me twice over. One for being a woman and two for being queer. So
exactly.
Same here.
Yeah, but it doesn't stop there. This story flew under the radar. I only saw it because I was scrolling the PC Gamers archives. Beamdog, the studio founded by former BioWare developers Trent Oster and Cameron Topher, best known for the re-releases of CRPGs like Baldur's Gate and Baldur's Gate 2, Planescape Torment, Neverwinter Nights, and Icewind Dale. they were also acquired by Embracer Group, and 26 of their staff disappeared due to this nonsense. And then it was quiet for a bit, and then last week, Blizzard went, "Hey guys, guess what? It's nearly BlizzCon, and guess who we've got back? We've got Chris Metzen. You like Chris Metzen? He voices Thrall. Yay!" What? And I mention this because while this was happening, there were people laid off from the Hearthstone team at the same time.
So basically, it's like okay, get them out. Oh, but look, don't look at them. Look at Chris. Look at Chris. Look, you like Chris?
That was exactly what was going on, and it was like,
well, same
distraction.
I'm going to throw another thing in the fire. Epic literally recently had a brand new interview with shareholders saying that the business is better than ever and that they're looking forward to a bright, bolder future, and then laid off staff.
They laid off 800 people, about 16% of their staff. The developers Mediatronic, which released Fall Guys and Epic had recently bought, they lost like most of their staff, like most of them.
And again, I will repeat, this is after Epic with shareholders just had a meeting saying, "Oh yeah, profits are fantastic. Profits are fantastic." With I imagine also bonuses were thrown out there like there's no fucking tomorrow, because of course those people are working ever so hard to keep that company running.
And I also forgotten BioWare recently laid off staff. I think I might have mentioned it in the previous podcast, but if I haven't, I have now. They've gotten rid of staff, and very recently, just a couple of hours before this podcast, Naughty Dog was cutting contracted developments. Well, contractors in QA, they cut them as well, and there might be some question about whether they get benefits for being made redundant, severance and stuff like that. So that's not good.
That's not good.
So this exposes a problem that's been in the video game industry since it's been around, but I think it's growing ever more acute now. Is job security in the video game industry is almost non-existent.
What job security?
You are only secure in your job in the video game industry if you're an executive. If you're in the trenches actually doing shit, your job is on a knife edge.
Which is ironic because those are the actual people who are fucking important.
Yeah. And it's made worse because before the pandemic, it was like, Elle will have to stop me if at any point if I'm like making too many assumptions here, because he actually has experience and I don't. But the video games industry necessitated a lot of moving around. Because you were constantly changing jobs. So you had to move, get a new house. Like if you had kids, you had to move them to new schools or arrange transport and stuff like that. And you could just lose your job like that.
Yeah, so the games industry is a very volatile place to be in. And because it's not like there's a studio in every single city or every single location that are hiring just off the go. You have to move where the jobs are. And so you'll often get a lot of people who move to at the place where they can work, because especially before COVID, this is the time where you had to work in offices, where these days things can be a bit more remote, even though there's still a pushback against that still happening.
Yeah, that's also why a lot of companies like Activision Blizzard are suffering from a brain drain right now, because they are necessitating not only to go back to the office, but also not paying their devs like enough money to live in a very expensive city. And then they're going, "Why don't we have enough staff?" God, I don't know why. Maybe you should treat them better and stop fucking harassing them. That would be nice.
Yeah, which is even more bonkers in light of the layoffs of recent.
Yeah.
It's like they are already very, very short of staff and still laying off people.
And it's just a symptom of an overall problem with society in general right now. Coming back to the office, which was a completely unnecessary move, because I read on Reddit this morning while on the metro, just going to work, just checking to see what there was, a message of somebody who had gone from work from home, absolutely fine, to everybody being mandated coming back to the office a minimum of 4 days a week, while that office was being reconstructed.
What?
They were demolishing the building and building it back up again at the same time that they were demanding people work in it.
Fuck's sake.
Well, that's the most bonkers.
Okay, I
I
work
don't
for.
know what company it is. I didn't read much into it, but that is balls.
Not going to name the company I work for. The company I work for, they've gone the opposite direction, whereas they've actually expanded who they're hiring because you can now work remotely.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, so
I'm honestly surprised that companies aren't seeing this opportunity, because it's all coming down to money, isn't it? Because it's all down to, oh, we've got these spaces we've rented, no one's using them. We'll force people back rather than selling them off. We'll force people back into the office.
Yeah.
Well,
So
it's mostly because most companies with these spaces have rented them. They don't own the
No, no, no.
buildings that
Yeah.
they're using. They rent them.
Mm.
And that lease is for however long, 5, 10, whatever years.
Yeah.
And they've already paid for it. So they want to use it. They want to get use out of those buildings until the lease is up. And then they can just sure, move on, whatever.
Sure.
yeah, yeah, and my you've also got old attitudes of like, I don't think my staff is as productive when they're working from home, which my team leader had. Like not my line manager, but my team leader. He's moved to another team now, thank God. I don't have to I don't have to deal with it. But at the same time, it was like, we need to have you in the office because I can't trust that you're as productive at home as you are in the office. And I'm like, okay, maybe there's some truth in there's a little bit higher productivity when I'm in the office. However, I don't like it because the amount of my day that I have to take to commute to the office, to do shit for the office, and then
I'm not-
commute all the way back to the office. I
Not
have to
paid.
get
Not paid for that.
Nope.
yeah, I have to like get food ready because I have a packed lunch. I have to,
Yep.
I have to get like specific clothes ready because I have to be smart casual. I have to work in the office, and it's just like I have to do this. And the thing is, it's a health burden as well.
Yeah.
Like if I don't feel 100%, the walk up to my office ain't gonna do me too good. But if I'm feeling a little bit shit and I can work from home, I just work from home and I feel much better.
Yeah.
I've worked more since going quickly. I've worked more working from home because there have been days where I feel ill, but where if I were to go in, I wouldn't be able to. But I can work from home, and I'm perfectly fine doing that, and I could just about stomach it. And of course, if I could have a shorter day if I want to, because I work flexi hours as well. And some people argue about the productivity. I think it depends on the person. From what I remember, I always told my productivity actually increased when I started
Yeah,
working.
because the thing is, also, you're in your own place. Like, if you
Comfortable.
just want to get some water, you just go up and get some water. You've got control over the bathroom and food and stuff going on and stuff like that. Like, it's just a lot easier to be in your own space, kind of thing.
We are getting into the weeds though at this point, I think.
We are.
I just to bring it full circle, I will admit that when it comes to working from home, I was the other side of things. My productivity did dip. Well, I had my own devices because I was able to listen to music, watch YouTube while doing my work. But I'd like to point out to all those people that saying, I can't watch what you're doing. Exactly. I still hit my fucking targets.
Yeah, exactly. I tend to get easily distracted as well, but I know what I'm doing. I still do what I'm doing. It's
Yeah.
like
There is a reason why when they offered me Sunday overtime, I was the only one that went in on a Sunday. Everyone else went in Saturday. I was like, oh, I can't do Saturday. Can I do Sunday instead? Cool, I'll do 4 hours on Sunday. I'd turn up. Nobody would be there. I'd put a little mini speaker on my desk, listen to music, work for 2 hours, get all 4 hours work done, and just sit there like this
yep.
for the rest of the 2 hours,
Yeah.
getting
Nice.
paid double time for it. Nice.
Yeah.
Good shit.
But that's not a thing. Who cares what people do at home as long as targets are
Yeah.
filled? And you can check that you can have dashboard because Shadow's work, my work, Lemming's work, Elle's work, it's all done through a system that monitors how much you've done. You can have your dashboards on your ClickView or whatever, or Tableau or whatever you're using, you can check the productivity.
Yeah, and sometimes cases take longer. As
Yeah.
anyway, we
We digress. We are very much in the weeds. Shall we move on to the next topic then, or is that
yes, yeah, pretty much.
Loving? What do you got for us?
I've got a couple here, but I'll leave the most important one for last. I just want to point out the fact that in the $250 million fraud trial that Donald Trump is jumping into, one, they're not going to trial with a what's the word I'm looking for? With a jury, because his lawyer didn't ask for one.
Then he blamed not having a jury.
He blamed not having a jury, but his lawyer, Alina Haber, is using a Asus ROG gaming laptop.
I did see that, yeah.
At the trial.
You're the big leagues now, Alienware.
Woo!
But yeah, the other more serious situation going on right now is something that came like a couple of hours ago. Yes,
sorry.
yes,
Before you get into that, I do want to mention very quickly before Burr has this thing is I also found out that apparently he was committing fraud while also being tried for committing fraud. So it's like fucking only Donald fucking Trump can do this.
And then he got really, really angry.
Angry.
And then the New York went, yeah, we're not going to let you have a business license because you're terrible at business. And he started molding about the fact that somebody said he was shitty at business.
I mean, he was being
declared
bankruptcy. Yeah. So anyway, Burr, you were gonna make a comment for letting go into it.
I just wanted to commit it because honestly, when you started saying Aces ROG, I was absolutely certain that you're gonna say she's using Ace Attorney style of defense.
In fairness, it is Donald Trump. I could see that happening.
Do you know what? Donald Trump is so much of a caricature of his fucking self. I could fucking see him appearing in a game.
Or hiring a lawyer who thinks they could use
thinks they could use them. I have the best lawyers. I have the best lawyers in town.
That's the best bullshit. Some of my bullshit is just the best
it
in the
was
world.
horseshit. I did not. Oh, hi, Josh.
Oh, hi, Miles.
So my actual news, gaming news article here is on September 29th, in the wake of layoffs at Epic, curling into what we were talking about earlier with gaming layoffs, Hatomoa,
oh yes,
the developer of Hatoful Boyfriend,
the dating sim where you date pigeons.
Yeah, basically you are a person dating pigeons in a post-apocalyptic
I mean, on the outside is a dating sim.
Yeah,
one of the pigeons wants to kill you and sell your organs, but it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
It's fine.
Yeah, in wake of the dismissal of a number of employees, including those who worked for Mediatonic, where she used to work, she wished them the best, and then also pointed out, and I quote, "By the way, I've got no royalty payment for Hatoful Boyfriend from Epic since they acquired Mediatonic back in spring 2021. I don't think the sales have been zero for 2 years."
Ooh. Yeah, I'd look into that, Epic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the response from Epic is just epic.
What did they say?
They were literally like, "Oh, we're gonna look into it immediately." This is the bullshit response that I get. Like, you've not done this report for me for 2 days. What the hell? And I'm just oh no, I've forgotten. I'm dealing with it immediately.
Their exact tweet was, "We are looking into this, and the team will be reaching out to you directly."
Yeah, and it's like I kind of feel like it's almost like the teachers got up and say, "Epic, do you remember to do that report that's due tomorrow?"
Yeah. Yeah. I think you've neglected to deliver your homework for 2 fucking years.
I will also add that there's been somebody who recently left Epic and mentioned that Epic is less Epic and more Tim Sweeney. He's really interested in the metaverse, guys, and making Epic 5.0 a competitor within the metaverse. Yeah.
Fuck the metaverse.
Can anyone remember
I'm pretty sure you'll be the leading leading company in the metaverse, in the ashes of a trillion dead companies, tried this.
Hello there,
Hello,
Kay.
Kay.
Can
Hi.
I
Also,
like a
I
couple?
wanted.
Go on,
Sorry.
No, go on, Bear.
I just wanted to ask regarding Epic. How long ago has Epic Games Store been set up, and how much has it changed? Because I don't see any fucking
It's got a
change.
basket now.
But wow, wow,
Wow!
Wow.
Yeah, that's
fucking yeah. Amazon's got one of those, I hear.
I think-
Somewhere.
In
I
fairness,
think
I
I
think
think
it
Steam
did
had
get
it back in
better.
2004.
Yeah, it did get better, but it's always been just like, oh god, I bet I'm here because there's like a free game here, or like this is the only place I can get.
Can
X,
you-
Yeah,
Y,
the only time I go up to Epic Store is when it pops up in my corner, just right here, and says, "We've got a free game for you." I'm like, cool, click. What is it? Oh, not bothered. Close.
Yeah,
Can
pretty
I
much.
remember a couple of years ago when I said that Epic are the company that I feel are like think they're much bigger than they actually are,
Yeah,
and always
yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
there's the idea that
cocky after Fortnite.
they got fucking. They didn't get cocky after Fortnite. They got
Yeah,
fucking so far up their own fucking arse. You could they could puppeteer themselves around.
So it's official. Epic is a Russian army.
In
Yeah,
fairness, I think no. In fairness, I've seen Epic's actual store work.
Mm.
Okay. You're fair.
yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
fair.
there's a difference between selling a game and having a shitty store to do it with, and aiming for a military airport and hitting a block of flats 5 miles away.
Yeah,
Russian army.
yeah, or like when like your attacking force gets completely annihilated in river crossing. Think, yeah, no, don't worry, we're gonna cross at like the third wave or the fourth wave or the fifth wave. That's fine. And
See, this is actually a victory.
We're not running out of
just-
artillery.
This is actually a victory. You just don't understand it, Shadow. That's the thing.
yeah, and
taking a
when
quick
like
aside here.
a small civilian drone manages to set on fire. Hey, I think it wasn't a spy plane, but it was like a cargo plane or something.
It was a
Something the
large
Russians
cargo aircraft. Yeah.
Yeah, something the Russians couldn't afford to lose.
No, they don't have many of those.
Yeah.
The Russian equivalent of a C5 Galaxy heavy transporter, they've already got about 10 of them.
But 9 now.
9 now.
To get away from Slava Ukraine, but
Love
yeah,
Ukraine.
yeah, Slava Ukraine.
Slava.
The Epic is making like it's almost like buying all those indie games to become exclusive on your platform. Maybe was a terrible idea.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it was a brilliant. It was a brilliant idea, but it was a gimmick. That's all it was.
Yeah.
But I'm just looking at this tweet going, we are looking into this and the team will be reaching out to you directly.
It's gotten old now.
Isn't that just corpo speak for shit, don't talk about this anymore, we'll talk about this in private?
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much, yes.
Literally that.
That is literally that.
Whoops.
Yeah. We'll DM you. Please stop talking.
Which does make you wonder, like, was this brought up in private before? Because
how many emails did she send?
I'm pretty sure it's been trying. He's been trying to delve. They've been trying to deal with that in private many times until they couldn't anymore.
Yeah.
She.
she.
Oh, she. Okay.
Burr, what have you got for our last news article? We get into the main topic.
Okay, so maybe something a bit more lifting our spirits.
Yay!
So, do you remember NFTs? What an awesome idea they were.
Yeah, I hated them.
Yeah.
So,
yes, they were.
there is this company, Dab Gamble, that they are dealing with trading with NFTs and crypto and all kinds of things. And they did a research recently. And they analyzed, to be precise, 73,257 NFT collections.
Right.
And 69,795 of them are equal exactly 0 Ethereum. which is
Woo!
the currency that most NFTs are
That-
being
sounds-
sold in.
That sounds like most of them, if not all of them.
That sounds like 95% of NFT collections are worth exactly zero.
Hey.
And those that
No. Finish off because I have
yeah,
something.
those that are worth something, they are worth like a fraction of their original price. They were like priced for like $6,000. They worth like $5 to up to maybe $100. The market is like plunged almost like 95%, and also like maybe 18% of the NFTs have ever been sold. There's been way too much of a supply in comparison to the demand.
Yeah.
People wanted to blow this bubble up, and somehow it refuses to grow.
Shadow.
Also, do you know what's really, really funny about this?
Go on.
So NFTs are worth nothing, right?
Yeah.
Well, remember Peter Molyneux?
Yeah.
He is
I was
about
trying
to
to forget.
release. He's about to release an NFT blockchain game.
Oh,
God bless you, Molyneux.
Zero.
yeah, oh Peter, why can't you change, please? Go back to what you were when you were at Bullfrog.
Wah wah.
So I'm gonna wrap up this news segment for that news article in only one way I can, by imitating one of my favorite memes. Oh no. Anyway.
Hey L, when we find the grave of the NFT, you and I can curl a hot one on top of it.
God, yes. So yeah, that is probably the best news I've heard all week.
Woo! Yeah, but a bit weird that Tim Sweeney wants to get in on the metaverse though.
Yeah,
yeah.
It seems to be dead.
It is crazy that people are still so hot on trying to get into metaverse, blockchain associated stuff when everything to date has turned out to be a bright flash followed by a fizzle.
It's either a flash in the pan or it's a scam.
Yeah,
it most likely is both.
Both.
Yeah. But this is why people want in on things, because they want to grift on the scam
and get out.
then disappear, then get out. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All my hope is AI images will go the same way. I'm not calling. I'm deliberately not calling them art because they're not. It's image generation. They can suck my left nut.
Yeah, all the artistry in that work was stolen from people who actually put the work in.
Art requires creativity.
It's not copyrighted, so technically I could take any of your images. So it's not. So you're not making art. You're making a very nice procedural image gallery.
With
but
fucked
I can
up
steal it and
fingers.
take that if I wish.
Which I do love that, because it's like, wait, so if you make a game with these AI images, that means we can use those images without any kind of recompense. Tasty.
Yeah, it's anyway, let's
move on. So let's move on to the topic of today.
Hey, it's the time where Elle and I are gonna get really, really angry.
Okay, so today's topic was originally going to be about characters and what we're trying to say is unconventional character design, like stuff because that's what we're going to look into.
Yeah, and what it means to what it means a conventional character.
Conventional character, that's it. Yes, and also just general to that. However, something happened to me last night. I was browsing Twitter. Which is Twitter, it's not X, it's Twitter. And
this is the only dead name we use is for Twitter.
Yeah.
The thing is, we have a reason for maintaining the use of Twitter. The website URL is still twitter.com.
Yeah. And I got into a discussion with someone. I say a discussion. It's more. It was more shouty than a discussion. Not an argument. It was just shouting.
It was a debate.
It was a very vigorous debate. Where clearly one side is wrong and one side is right. My side being the right one. And I'm sorry, I'm just going to outright say that because I truly believe that. which is there were some people talking about I'm just gonna outright say what it was about. It's about difficulty within video games. And this is a topic which we've seen come up many, many, many fucking times. Not on the podcast, surprisingly, which I was surprised to learn today.
It was.
Briefly.
We just appeared briefly in our pilot episode.
Briefly the pilot, but that's
Yeah.
about it. And there were some people who basically was talking about the soul style games, and there were a couple of people having a bit of a debate about the fact that they're meant to be hard, and that the game that some people just don't hate. Some people hate challenges, and they don't like the stress and frustration that comes along with them, and they would that. Basically, I decided that I'd throw my hat into the ring, which is basically the idea of I agree difficulty in gaming should be scalable because difficulty and accessibility are very much a similar kind of thing. As much as people want to argue they're not, they are pretty much the same kind of thing because a difficulty means that, what's difficult for some person is subjective, very much so. And it is my personal opinion that the Souls games are, even though they are the progenitor and the most well-known versions of their genre, they are the weakest versions of their own creation because they fail to appeal to a wide audience from their lack of accessibility options within and difficulty options as well. Now this is something which has been very much characterized within the Souls community as the antithesis of what they believe. They believe that the game is fine as it is. You don't need difficulty modes. Get good. Bugger that. And I had a very vigorous
at the Jedi series.
Yes, now that is a series that I did utilize. And I had a very big rant on my own Discord today because I literally just lost my collective shit. Regarding sorry?
I just say for the chat, he was not pleased.
I was not pleased. Mainly because I do not understand the idea of a defending against this to the point where it sounds so much like all the other political bullshit that when I say political bullshit, I mean the political arguments people make against things. Like, for example, I don't like X, it won't affect me, but I won't allow it. Is the idea. So, I'm not saying that the game should be made easier for everyone. I'm saying options should be put in place that you can activate to make things easier and harder to make the game adjustable to your needs. I'm not saying that everyone needs to have that same experience, because then I would be imposing my will upon everyone, which is not the point. My point is to allow people to tailor the thing to their interpretation, and people are against that because they don't like the fact that gives people options. It's like, which I get is like, all it boils down to is I don't like that. And also the idea of the creator's vision. The creators say that they want to do this as a vision. Well, in my opinion, the creators are dipshits and wrong. And I will fucking say that with my full chest that and I will call them out right here on stream that From Software, I'm sorry, because I know that you recently playing a game that they made. So I can say it with my full chest. From Software and the team behind that, and Hideki and his entire team are fuckwits for their opinions on that they shouldn't have this, because again, people have. I mean, I'm someone who, I get the whole idea about them things like is about overcoming adversity. There comes a point where and I've played Dark Souls. Burris, we played Dark Souls, and he will admit that I wasn't bad at it. I was pretty good at Dark Souls.
You are very good at it.
It's just that, when you're bashing your head against, there comes a point where I just want this to be over with. When I've tried the boss multiple times, I've done my 10 tries, my 20 tries, my 30 tries. I don't want to go for another 10, 20, 30, 40 tries. I want it done and over with.
Yes.
And we've seen that there are other games in the genre, like the Jedi series, which I referenced directly, where I, on stream, was having issues with one boss in the entire game. I said, okay, I'm going to make this easy, turn it to easy mode, defeated the boss very easily. And then say, okay, now let's move on. And I put the difficulty back to what it was and moved on.
And also, when the player stats came out, it turned out that a lot more people were playing the easy modes, like story mode and the one before Jedi Knight, I think it is, than anyone was playing the hardcore one, which just stabbed a lot of the things in the face. And sorry, were you gonna?
I was going to quickly say, I'm all for creative vision. However, that doesn't mean that the creative vision is absolute, and there should always be compromise. A bit like how the Darkest Dungeon group made an interesting mechanic that the community didn't like, and so their compromise was, okay, we'll give you the option to turn that mechanic off if you wish to.
Yeah, I think.
Let's go, Lemming.
No. Yeah, let me.
It comes to something when a game entirely sold on not safe for work stuff, a game that I kickstarted called Subverse, has an idea that, we understand that these gameplay elements might be difficult. If you fail this combat thing 3 times, we'll give you the option to skip. So yeah, if this combat is difficult, if you have difficulty with it, we'll let you skip it, and you'll just get a bronze on it. You can try again later.
That's fair.
Yeah, absolutely fair.
Let you progress the story.
Yeah. I'm actually going to be a little bit spicy here, but this is tied in, but I think we've noticed that Japanese video games tend to not have the extensive accessibility modes that Western games have. And there is a reason, and I think
yes,
that this is a theory, there's a reason for that.
There is a reason for that.
And that comes from, and I hate to point this out, Japan, but you did it, from your fascist attitudes during World War II. You had some very, very interesting
choice opinions on less abled individuals, shall we say.
Yeah, you had some very interesting opinions on eugenics, which you took from the US, and lots of forced sterilization on disabled people. So there wasn't a lot of, and so there isn't a lot of disabled people in Japan, and the way Japanese society works is very conformist, very it's not friendly towards disabled people. It's not friendly at all.
It's structured in its own way.
Yeah, and disabled people tend to become people who are pretty much trapped at home, called hikikomori kind of thing. It's an actual thing. Like they can't get into work, they can't work, they can't study, they won't go out because they experience discrimination. And this has the two-pronged approach of people in Japan don't acknowledge that disabled people exist, so they don't think accessibility modes are needed or anything. They don't consider it, so it's not shown. And also, the thing about the FromSoft devs saying it's about overcoming adversity, it's like, okay, that's fine, but my friend here has sensory neural hearing loss, which means he was born with the auditory nerve in his ear just not functioning. It will never function. It will never come back.
My left ear is purely decorative. It will never function. It is there to really be visual and nothing else.
So how is he going to overcome that? How can he hear harder? He's never going to hear in stereo.
Yeah. How can I get better at hearing?
Yeah. Are you going to tell me to just, I don't know, Shadow, you don't need those glasses. Just see better, kind of thing. Like, I have myopia. Like, I just don't focus correctly. Are you gonna tell Burr over there? Just
I think
function better. Dude.
I think we should get into that if you don't mind us kind of Burr a little bit, because I will say mine is actually not too bad, because in games where listening is important, it can be difficult, like in stealth games or games like Tarkov. I'd imagine it would be very difficult for me, because hearing and what you can hear in terms of combat is very important to know what's in your environment. So, and that's, but it's something which I can basically overcome by basically just looking around more. However, and that is still a debuff, and I think that should still be considered. Burr, I think, has it the hardest. None of us, I think, he should be the voice of kind of expert here, because you've actually played the Souls games, in spite of your
yes,
condition.
That's true. I did. I mostly because they are so difficult for me. I've spent like collectively 500 hours on the Souls games.
Yeah.
From Dark Souls 1 to Elden Ring. And yes, so long story short, I have mild cerebral palsy, which, among other things, it manifests by me not being able to press buttons quick enough to manipulate with my hands, especially with my right hand, quick enough. Which means, like, when there are combos in fighting games, I won't be able to pull them off quickly enough. Whenever there are QuickTime events, I have to literally grab the controller like this and switch my left hand here so that I can press the buttons quick enough with my left hand. Because with my right hand, there's no option for that. There's a lot of things, like I need some games to be working much slower, sometimes a bit slower, so that I can like get quick enough on the buttons.
If I may interrupt, I mean, that's probably the best thing to do is let's talk about perhaps the most Dark Souls adjacent kind of game, which is perhaps the easiest accessible Dark Souls game. Because would we all now? Let's put it down here. Is Jedi Survivor a Souls-esque game?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say yes. It has Souls-like elements. It's not fully Souls-esque game, but it has enough Souls-like elements. It has the respawn enemies functionality. It has the opening shortcuts to the areas to traverse it faster.
The health
Parry
reserves, parry
mechanics.
mechanics.
Yes, parry mechanics. The health regens when you rest the health potions. The steam bags regen.
Yeah, the combat
Yes.
is a main focus of the game, and
Yes.
it tends to be dangerous combat.
Yeah, the combat is animation based, so the frames that you use for attacks, when the slow attacks use more frames, faster attacks use less frames, they make a very big important part of the fight, just like in Souls games.
The point is to establish that we're comparing games as closely as possible to the Souls game.
Yeah.
You were actually able to really enjoy Survivor,
Mm.
not because you could turn it to easy, because you could keep it on medium. Or was it medium that you put on?
I was usually keeping it on, depending on how difficult the certain area was. I was switching between the second difficulty being Jedi Knight and the third difficulty being Jedi Master.
So higher difficulty than I played on.
Yeah, but that is because of other things that could be improved even in Jedi Survivor. Because I really love what they're doing, what they've done in Jedi Fallen Order first, and then improved in Jedi Survivor, which is when you change the difficulty levels, you see how it impacts particular behaviors, particular mechanics. So you see those sliders that says one is like time for reaction, and it decreases.
Parry window and such.
Parry window decreases with every higher difficulty. And also enemy
damage increases.
Aggression. Yeah. No, that's the enemy aggression.
Aggression, that's it, yeah.
It increases with higher difficulty. So that's something that I really would like to be decoupled. Because when you switch the difficulty down, you have more time for parrying, but also the enemies are progressively more brain dead. They act much less. They just stand there and just look at me.
So what you'd want is basically the idea you could just adjust one of those rather than adjusting all at the same time.
Yes,
yeah, I agree.
Like enemies to be aggressive, as aggressive as they are on Jedi Master, but I want the parry windows to be from Jedi Knight, or occasionally from bottom.
And the way you got around that in Survivor is you actually use the slowdown feature that they have in the game. Just kind of
'cause they
slow the
have
actual game down.
Yes, because then I can keep the aggression level from Jedi Master, but because I can slow down the game to 95% of the speed of the game, or to 90%, it is a bit more sluggish. You can see that the animations weren't made for that, but it's much easier to like roll away from the attack. It's much easier to parry in time. 'Cause
Now-
with sorry.
No, go on.
Because with me, I also want to refer to two games that are using this mechanic of sort of quick time events, sort of reacting quickly to what's happening. They are both JRPGs. One is what we've been talking about today, Sea of Stars, and the other being the Mario and Luigi games on the 3DS. So in Sea of Stars, there's also this mechanic that when you attack, you can, when you have a timed hit, you can time your hit so that you attack more. And you can also have a timed parry where you get less damage, or sometimes you can nullify the damage completely. And with those, I also had a lot of problems until I got the relics that are this game's equivalent of accessibility options, where you can like add a relic that shows you when you have done the timed parry correctly, or one that extends the window for the time parry, or like it makes it 35% more likely that the parry will automatically, or the attack will automatically be the perfect timed one. And they really helped me a lot.
Yeah.
Because I could see that I was not pressing the buttons at the right time, or if I wanted to press the button at the right time, I had to wait for a few frames before, because my reaction time would be so that when I finally press the button, it would be at the right time if I start pressing it way before.
Yeah.
Mm.
Now, the reason I think this is important to know is because my reasoning for wanting this is because I want to play Dark Souls because I'm interested in the world. I just don't want to have to deal with the frustration of the gameplay. I'm not saying I don't want a challenge. That is not what I'm saying. You guys always know that I never back down for a challenge. What I want to is be able to dial the challenge in so to that sweet spot where it's challenging enough, but it's not too egregious that I can, I feel, it's at a suitable level. Now that's go on.
We want to curate our challenge. We want to curate our adversity, because it's never a fixed thing. It's always a moving goalpost, even within one person. One day, or at one point, or with this particular enemy, your adversity and your level of challenge is much lower than with another enemy.
Sometimes there's an enemy who just needs to just fucking stop.
If we quantify like adversity and say that the game is intentionally that the game's intention is that you overcome 100 adversity, and that is generally the average. The problem is, but with your condition, that makes it more like 150 adversity to overcome. Which, why is that now suddenly fair for you, for everyone, for you to not be able to turn that to a point where that can now be 100 compared to everyone else? And I fully admit mine is just a personal choice, and people may scoff at that. I don't think you should, because that's my fucking opinion, and I think that I have the right to be able to play my games the way I want to play them. But if you argue against my view, you can't argue with Burr. At the very least, you cannot argue that someone with an actual disability, is the option to be, especially when they reply, "Oh, the game's not for you," or the game's not every game's for everyone. Really? So you're going to say to the person who's in a wheelchair that not every game's for them? Really?
Yeah,
that's just gatekeeping, and we don't like.
So if the person turns up want to play football, if someone in a wheelchair turns up wants to play football, do you say to them, "Oh, sorry, but the game's not for you"?
Yeah.
Because guess what? Guess what? That makes you a fucking dick.
Have you seen wheelchair rugby? That shit is like extremely
dangerous.
They do not hold back. Holy shit.
Yeah, like
I mean,
I.
I honestly would be terrified to be tackled like that.
And
Yeah,
I alluded to this at the start of the stream that the whole idea, again, if I was advocating for a change that impacted everyone to the point where, so that they had no choice but to play on the same difficulty as me or Burr, I can understand people pushing back against that. I'm not. I'm advocating for additional things that allow people to modify things either way, making things harder or easier to a point that suits them, giving people more options. And the point
yeah,
where people
you
are
don't have to
you don't
use the
have
options, guys.
yeah, you don't have to use them.
It's
People
not
say
for you.
it's not for you, and and people say, "Oh, it's ridiculous. We can't do that." And it all boils down to I don't like that, and it's even though it's not going to affect
It's
me,
gatekeeping. It's
it is
gatekeeping.
gatekeeping.
They
And
want to climb the ladder and pull the ladder up behind them. That's all it is. It's all gatekeeping because they want to be like, oh well, I beat Dark Souls. Admire me for I am the
admire
greatest
me,
person.
I'm the
You're not.
greatest.
You just beat a video game. So
It's
fucking what? Get a
it's
hobby.
And I'm gonna
loser.
quote myself from my own Discord post last night. The Souls community, and if you are a member of them, I invite you to contest my opinion, are a group of elitist reprobates whose ego is so fragile that the very idea of someone having an easier time than them frustrates them. Oh look, another conservative hallmark, I'll point out, to the point that instead of allowing their community to grow and the game be experienced by a wider group of people, they would rather wall off so they can personally bathe, and I'll use another word beginning with W, which I will, wank in their own self-satisfaction of how fucking great they are at video games.
it's the gaming society. It's gaming sphere's
Gamers.
equivalent.
Yeah.
It's the gamer equivalent of the old person saying, "Back in my day, we had to walk uphill 20 miles to go to school."
Yeah.
Oh, so
we have buses now, motherfucker.
we have buses now. So why the fuck, why did we? So you suffered, so everyone has to suffer, do they?
I also find it very funny that these same people were complaining about Armored Core's difficulty when that came out. I found that very funny. I thought you were supposed to get good. I thought you were supposed to get good. What happened to that?
Negative reviews on Steam because they couldn't beat the first boss. Hit it with your fucking sword. That's all it takes.
Just get good, motherfucker. Just get good. I thought you were good at that.
Maybe I'm harsh. I mean, what do people say? What do you guys respond to the argument of it should be the creator's vision to make the game how they wish?
Well, I'm sorry that your creator has such a myopic vision and only wants a small section of people to play it. That sounds very sad.
Surely your first desire as a game developer is to make something that the most people will want to play.
Yeah, exactly. You have something to say. Surely you want lots of people to hear it.
It's also why I am completely against and was against Elder and a Ring winning Game of the Year, because in my opinion, the Game of the Year should be a game that anyone can pick up, play, and enjoy from beginning to end without preparation. Which, to tell me that you can just dive into Elden Ring without preparation, fuck, you must fucking kidding yourself. And it's completely the antithesis of what I think the Game of the Year should be. Again, that's my own idea of what the Game of the Year should be, so I will admit that is my own personal opinion there. But yeah,
I do absolutely agree with that. Sorry, go ahead, Shadow.
I will point out that I've never played a Souls-like game before until Jedi Fallen Order.
Fair enough, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I would never have played a Souls-like game had that game not had difficulty modes for me.
Yeah.
And I will also say something incredibly fiery and spicy. But first, we're going to let Burr speak.
Okay, so one thing that I wanted to say is that the Jedi games are the perfect representation for how those games are also really good and really interesting and really challenging for the people who want to challenge. Because I've seen all kinds of videos of people either speedrunning the Force Rift challenges, where they are doing like the world record is 19 seconds. I did it in 20 or something. Or like when they are showing, oh, I finally beat the Fractured Malice. Who played the game knows what challenge that is. I
beat Fractured Malice with blindfolded with one hand tied behind my back.
Yeah, and they would saying, yeah, I love the fact that I can switch to Grandmaster and have a really gut-wrenching, balls to the wall challenge, but also at the same time you can have the Padawan level story mode challenge, or you can have the Jedi Knight or Jedi Master challenge, and all of those are absolutely valid. Everyone can enjoy this game the way they want to.
I will attempt to play contrarian because I feel I have to provide at least some form of impartiality to this discussion. Because, okay, what about the argument that the whole point of these games is that they're hard?
Well, then your game sucks. Sorry.
Yeah, I would say that if that's your vision, is that
Whoa,
that's
have
your
you
adversity.
played the
Well,
Impossible game?
let her finish. Let her finish.
Just wanted to say regarding if this is your vision as an artist, as a developer group, you're either a tyrant that does not let anyone else on your team speak. Because when you have a dev team preparing a game, you would have people from all sorts of backgrounds, all sorts of places. So you will. Is that Flappy Bird?
No, that is the Impossible game.
Oh.
You literally cannot win it.
Yeah.
It is very difficult. I have beaten it. I have beaten it.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
There is an ending.
Yeah, the thing is, that game is motivated entirely around this game's really fucking hard.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. We've had this as a like free flash game for forever. If your game is just like our game's really hard because it's really hard, it's like, bro, we've already had a flash game. Are you gonna say something else other than I like making people unhappy? Well, cool. So does taxes. so
Yeah.
so
does
does
Holy
taxes and
shit.
COVID and disease. What else do you bring to the table? If you're just
The
going to
world
be
is
annoying,
difficult
just go and
enough.
post your
The
ignorant.
world is difficult enough. Yeah.
Yeah, like
So does root canal operation. It makes people miserable. Have that.
yeah. If the one thing your game is saying is I like to make people unhappy, then it's just like, well, you kind of fucking suck, bro. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be the first person to admit that Tarkov fucking sucks for that. And most of it is because of other players. So
Hell,
that's
it's
why I did what I did. Stop playing online Tarkov.
Do you want to finish your thought? Because I think you finished your thought really on that.
I did, because you have a team making a game. Either you're a tyrant that does not allow people to voice their objections, like I want this game to have modes so that other people like I can play it, and you're like, no, this game has to be like this, my way or the highway. You're either a horrible tyrant as the producer, as the director of the game, or if you've assembled a team that thinks exactly like you. Wouldn't why the hell do you even want that? What kind of adversity is that if it only caters to a certain kind of people that can, like, when people can challenge themselves to that point, that's great. But when they physically can't, it's just that someone who either doesn't listen to their own people or doesn't like care about other people than himself anyway.
Well put, I think. Do you think this is because you were saying earlier, Shadow, about the connection between able people in Japan? Do you think it is an issue within, not necessarily all, but within at least some Japanese gaming studios?
I think so. Yeah.
I actually would agree with that. The reason I say that is because don't forget, The Last of Us 2 came out years ago and was heralded as one of the most successful games ever because someone who is legally declared blind can play that game with the accessible features it has. Whereas the big thing about Resident Evil 4 being released this year is that Capcom, you could change the size and color of the captions, which is like. It's a whole new world.
When it comes to games from Japan, I'd like to point out Super Mario Brothers 2. They didn't release it outside of Japan because they thought it was too hard for us.
Yes.
Yes.
They have some interesting views on it.
Now that I think about it, I'm actually struggling to think like there must be because there must be because it's impossible there not to be. I can't really think of a lot of Japanese video games that I've played that have difficulty options.
Nope.
Mostly it's just you play the game and that's it. There's no
Yeah,
like
I can't think of any. Like, I've not played any Mario games like that.
Pokemon Black and White where you got hard mode before easy mode.
Well, no, that was worse. No, that was worse.
That's
Like,
worse.
because in Black and White, you had you could only get these difficulty settings if
you-
you cleared
if you cleared the actual game.
first. And
So
they were restricted. Like, easy mode was in white, hard mode was in black, and the only way to have them in the other games was to find somebody with the opposite game who had finished the game and transfer it through the extra link. Because
the closest
why?
I can think of is the Resident Evil series, where you've got hardcore and standard. Where hardcore is like you've got like the limited number of saves and things like that. But yeah, I think
The
Yeah.
Earth Defense Force games, which are classically Japanese, do have difficulty settings. There's just one thing about those: they're less difficulty settings and more progression. You go from very easy to normal to hard to very hard as you progress on the amount you've played the game.
Yeah, it's
The
kind
more
of
stuff you unlock enables you to play the higher difficulties.
I can't believe I didn't think about it. One of my favorite series of all time, Metal Gear Solid, has so many difficulties. There are about fucking 6 or 8 in each games.
Let's not forget there was extreme difficulty and then
European extreme.
Yeah. The more
Okay.
recent Final Fantasy games, like Final Fantasy 15 and Final Fantasy 7 Remake and Rebirth, they have difficulty levels.
Okay.
However, I think this kind of shows the Japanese approach to that. The names of there are 2 difficulties in Final Fantasy 15. Do you want to know what they're called?
Go on.
Casual and normal.
I hate it when they're called that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think the only ones that I could top of my head are like the engine levels in Mario Kart, but that's progression as Lemmy.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts, there's some standard and hardcore, I think is what it's called.
Mm.
Can I sweep us onto a side tangent when it comes to like accessibility and difficulties?
Yep. Swipe.
Yeah. I do have something to say, but I wait for a bit.
This is a recent headline from yesterday that I actually saw at work today because, my work computers work on Windows 10, so there's a little button for news on the bottom right that they haven't disabled. It's great. I actually saw this on my news feed and I found it earlier today. Dev of Star Fox style roguelite, which I just bought and downloaded, by the way, hits back at negative responses to improved accessibility features. Sorry, not sorry.
Oh
Really?
yeah, that person. Basically, there was an update where they added some accessibility modes, and the person changed their review from recommended to not
Positive to
recommended.
negative.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I need to see this.
I'll post the.
Why would you change the reviews to say that it's not
Basically, I'll explain it. Basically, the accessibility features allow you to change how much damage you take from enemies, and you can also slow down the game slightly depending on your needs.
Okay.
Good accessibility when it's a what's the word? Star Fox style roguelike.
Oh yeah.
But why? Well, surely it's the other way around.
Because
not recommended to recommended.
One part of the patch that added this to the game also fixed the requirements for one of the Steam achievements. The achievement for being complete a run, basically survive a run, had a 1% success rate. 1% of Steam players had this achievement because the achievement was calibrated wrong. That has now jumped from 1% to 10% of people have managed it.
Unfortunately, they just mattered.
Yeah, unfortunately, this person thought that it was entirely because the game was easier now and has ranted about it and changed his review.
Yeah, because he
They
couldn't
changed.
be a super special boy.
I want to
Yeah,
read
give
that
us a-
review because it sounds like this is the reviewer is a petulant child, and I
They
fancy.
are.
Right here.
I fancy.
Yeah.
Really? Please send it to me, Lemming.
Yeah, it's right there. I had a positive review on launch, but this recent accessibility update, I'm going to put on my stupid voice. It's a flat no. The achievement stage for winning a run jumped from 1.9% to 10.3.
I
Because
am.
the devs just let you adjust the damage you take.
I'm disappointed that someone's name isn't on there, so I can fucking call them out on stream for it.
I despise when people equate accessibility with letting people cheat. I'm all for specialized controllers and settings,
Let me-
such as colorblind modes, that allow disabled people to play the same games as I play, but adjusting damage values is just an insult to those people under the misguided notion of a seemingly kind gesture.
Under the misguided notion of a seemingly kind gesture.
Fatherless behavior.
It's not childish behavior. It's my ego is so fragile that I
Yes.
beat this game, and now I can't allow anyone else to have an easier
Yeah.
time at it.
It's also the fact that this person is working entirely under a misconception. They
Yes.
think that number's gone up because the game's easier. The people are getting this achievement now because it's easier, rather than the fact that the achievement was originally bugged.
Yeah, but you proved my point though, Lemmy. He was proud that he was part of that 1%. Yeah. Or they were. They could have been anyone.
Yeah,
So,
they need
yeah,
to get. They need to get hobby.
Yes.
So yeah, welcome to Aaron San Filippo, whose game I have just bought. I'm going to be playing that soon.
It's called
Whisker Squadron Survivor.
Yes.
Yeah, go out and buy Whisker
Whisker-
Squadron
yeah.
Survivor.
Whisker Squadron Survivor. It's
When-
a roguelike
We are not
Star Fox style game.
We are not sponsored, but I stand a developer who knows about accessibility features. Let me tell you a story. There's a game called Tunic out, a great indie game, and I was really enjoying it up until a point where I got to a certain point, and I always didn't like the combat in the game because basically the dodge is based on a stamina system, and it got to a boss where the stamina was really getting in my way as the game. It was affecting that I was just not able to dodge, if I needed to, and I was getting tired. I know that the whole point is you're supposed to conserve that, but I'm used to games where I can just roll and dodge if I need to, without having to worry about a stamina system. The game allows you to actually turn the first of all damage system off if you wanted to, or the stamina system. I turned off the stamina system. Suddenly, I was having much more fun with the game. I could play it how I wanted to, and maybe the challenge was decreased for me, but it meant that I was playing at what I always feel to be a comfortable rate for me, whereas I otherwise probably would have put the game down, never played it ever again.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because Turing's a fantastic, great game. So if I would have missed out on that experience, it's a shame. And like I say, I fully understand if it was an overall change that everyone had to deal with, but it's not. It's customizability, and I think that studios, not just especially Japanese studios, but also all studios in general, just need to kind of up their game when it comes to accessibility. I think even in Saints Row, that the new one, you've got legit options just to turn on invincibility if you want to, or things like that. And I will say the new Saints Row game is not too bad. I played a little bit of it, and I think that you should have these options in there, and they shouldn't punish you. Like I remember in Lemming, the chicken hat.
That's the thing.
Would you care to explain what the chicken hat was in Metal Gear Solid?
If you failed missions enough times, the Metal Gear Solid 5 would allow you access to the chicken hat, which basically meant if a guard spotted you, he would spot you, go laugh at you, and let you go.
Which it's funny and a meme, but it's also a little bit like
Humiliating.
Yeah, humiliating to the player.
Yeah,
that's not
you're so bad at this game, you need to cheat. Really,
yeah,
well done.
Yeah, it is more meant as a joke item. Like I don't think they actually intended that to be an accessibility thing. But it's still a case of someone could perceive it that way and perceive that badly. And I've always had a problem with the way Doom and certain other Wolfenstein, how name their difficulty modes because
Oh god, yeah.
I know
Love
it's
the Wolfenstein games, but having your easy difficulty called "Can I Play Daddy" is just
Yeah, and
painful.
having BJ in like a little baby bonnet and a pacifier is just
yeah.
Has
But
it-
I personally think that the baby bonnet and the thing, I think that's a step too far. The naming, I can get the joke. Where but I do think that it could be better worded so it's not as degrading.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
for
Doom
that,
one is okay. I can't remember what the easy difficulty is, but
yeah,
I think it was I'm Too Young to Die.
yeah, I'm too young to die. But that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
I don't mind that.
Yeah.
the one in Wolfenstein is a direct. It's exactly the same as what it was in the original Wolfenstein 3D. That's why it's like that. It's a game from the 80s.
Yeah.
Maybe 70s.
Well, you know.
There's a reason why the 80s are in the past.
Yeah. Speaking of
100%.
horrible, demeaning names, like didn't Borderlands 2 had a girlfriend mode?
It did. Yes, you're absolutely right. I can remember something like this.
Because that was like a easier difficulty. It was called girlfriend mode, and that's also like so very toned
So
down.
it's not the official term, but girlfriend mode is the unofficial mode for a term of playing Borderlands 2. And the skill tree is called Best Friends Forever. And basically the idea that yeah, so it's the idea of this. I love Borderlands. I want to play a show with someone, but they suck at first-person shooters. Can I make a skill tree that actually allows them to understand the game and to play the game? That's what I attempt with the best friends for skill trees. That to me, I don't know.
On its face is fine. I just don't like that they called it like
the girl
officially. But
yeah, that to me, however, that's the problem with the community, the culture, because that's what people have dubbed as
the bro culture.
Yeah, the bro culture. Yeah,
right, I've got a very spicy take.
Go on.
So difficulty modes are both for accessibility and to take for different disabilities and whatnot. I play on easy because I like it. Because I don't want the challenge. And that's gonna set a lot of people off, but fuck it. It's not my game. You're not playing it. If I want to be able to stroll through fucking Dathomir, hitting Light Brothers away with my pinky finger, that's between me and the Force, frankly. And if you want to get your knickers in a twist about it, that's your prerogative. Change your heart or die, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and I'm going to be very disingenuous here and say that one of the things that really set me off is that I got thinking about it on a more deeper level, and it's the exactly same opinion as people in society. And I will preface as saying I'm comparing video games, stupid little things that we play, to actual real world problems. So do take what I'm about to say is with a mountain full of salt. It's the same attitude of like, I don't like gay people. So, but I'm not gay. But I don't like the idea that they can marry, so we're not going to allow them to marry. Or I don't like trans people, so we're not going to allow them to have access to healthcare, even though I have access to healthcare, but they're not going to have access to healthcare. It smacks of this right wing conservative aspect of I don't like it, but even though it doesn't affect me, I'm not going to let someone else have it.
I am uncomfortable and not about me.
And that is that really got me really riled up last night when I thought about it, because it is such a stupid and asinine situation. Again, I've said this 3 times now. If it was me saying I want to change the entire game to be just about how so that only people so Burr could play it like him, but everyone else has to play it like Burr, I can understand there being pushback. I'm not. Never have I said that.
Yeah.
And I feel all we want is for us to be he wants to be able to play the game on his own terms. I want to play the game on my own terms.
Yeah. I just want to paraphrase what people are responding to the game area. Just to paraphrase that, don't like easy difficulty, don't switch to easy difficulty.
Yeah.
I think at this point, if people are getting their knickers in a twist about easy difficulty, I'm just gonna say, you can just nobody's gonna judge you if you actually want to use it. Like, you can give yourself a break. You can play easy difficulty. It's too hard for you. Like, I'm sorry that you found it so hard. You had such a terrible time to get to the end, and
Are you saying perhaps that these people who claim that you only play on hard difficulty and hate anybody who plays on easy difficulty are secretly the exact same people on the right wing who hate gay people and are completely centered around the family and traditional family values, yet keep getting found with call boys in hotel
Maybe.
rooms?
Of course.
Remember?
It
Of course.
does stink a bit of the whole like desperation there.
Yeah,
Stinks
it
of
also,
hypocrisy, really.
yeah, it does remind me of the people who get really weird about kids like having like when like they'll say stuff like, well, when I was a I was hit, I don't see why I don't see why kids should be beat that time. And you actually respond to them by going, oh my god, you were beaten. Oh, I'm so sorry, that should never have happened. I'm sorry your parents did that to you. And they just don't know how to handle that. They don't know how to handle like sympathy kind
Human
of thing.
empathy? What is this?
Yeah, exactly. Because no, that shouldn't have happened to them.
No.
So I always think like if people are complaining that, like, just use it, man. You don't
Yeah.
you don't have to there's no video game fucking police standing behind you with a gun saying, you must play this on hard difficulty or you're not a person kind of things. Like, just play it on easy, bro. Have a life is hard enough as it is. Just if you want an easy time, I mean, fuck me. I play like 90% of my games on easy or casual. Like, I'm not kidding myself. Like, I just want a nice time, and maybe I'll bump the difficulty up.
The rest of life is difficult enough. I just want to relax.
I tend to shift games between what I'm comfortable with. Like, I'll play a game. I tend to start on like normal, and if it's too difficult, I'll move it to easy. If I think it's not hard enough, I'll bump it up to. Very rarely, I'll bump it up to hard. But it depends on the game. Depends on experience. And people say this game's not for you because the difficulty is it's such a stupid thing because like it's not like I know Minecraft's not for me. I'm not a creative person. I have no interest in playing Minecraft. I'm not begrudge anyone who does. That's perfectly fine. But when I look at Dark Souls, look at these worlds and this story, I am so interested in all this. I'm so interested. I want to know more and experience part of this without not saying I don't want a challenge. I'm willing to put up with some frustration, but I want to be able to do the frustration on my terms. I want to be able to be like, I've had enough. Switch, and there you go.
Yeah.
I posit. How do you know it's not a game for you if you haven't played it? Therefore, the fact that there's no difficulty mode allowing you to play the game automatically means it cannot be a game that's not for you because you don't know, because you can't play the fucking thing.
Yeah. I think that's right. This and drifting in the chat says, "Oh, I spoke to Laura about this earlier. I feel like I only very recently started to be comfortable tailoring games to me, and I feel like that's out of some weird rooted feeling that I am having to prove myself as an quote actual gamer. Being a cis lady. The gatekeeping got to me at some point. Yes,
gatekeeping strikes again.
I've been 100% honest. That has happened to me. Like, the amount of times that I've said, like, oh, I'm not that much of a good a really good gamer. Like, I'm more of a casual gamer kind of thing. Because I play mostly on easy because I like to. But that's automatically put a barrier in my mind of just like, oh, I'm not a real gamer. I'm just a casual gamer because X, Y, and Z.
I think everyone has experienced that to some point. At some point, how many times have I said, "Oh, I'm not that great"? And you guys to say, "Actually, you're really good." You just don't realize it. Same thing that I've said to you guys. Like you say, like you're a fucking devil in a TIE interceptor. Shadow. It's people.
You absolutely,
people absolutely just This thing is the gatekeeping leads to a situation like this where you have you've got to prove something when you don't need to prove anything. You know,
Yeah.
the point of gaming is that you have as much fun as you want to. And yes, there is a degree to me where I'll be like, I think I can do it on this difficulty, but if it's too hard, no shame in just bumping it down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really agree with Drifting in that I think for us, we feel like we've got extra to prove because we're women as well, and we've got to
Yes.
show that we can keep up with the lads kind of thing. When really, like, you guys
Which I
could
disagree
care
with.
less what the fuck I'm
No,
doing.
no.
Like,
As
yeah.
long as you're having fun, that's all I care about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But because of the stereotype of it's a man's world kind of thing, Drifting and I feel like we have to be better in order to be.
Sorry, I left my cigars downstairs and my smoking jacket along with my whiskey. I forgot to bring them on stream today. You know.
Yeah, but that's the feeling we kind of get. So that's why a lot of the time that we're sort of going like, I'm just a casual gamer. I don't, just like we don't want to disappoint anybody. So we're always putting those things up where we're just like, we're just a fucking gamer. Come on.
Of course, she plays.
Also the stereotype of the girl gamer. Of course she plays on these. You're not a real gamer. That's it. That's what it took a long time for me to divert, like to get out of my system kind of thing, and it still bugs me.
Shadow. Jedi Survivor Analytics most played difficulty mode.
Story mode.
There you go. It just shows even the majority of people play on story mode.
Yeah, like I've just reached a point now where it's like I play on easy mode, and like as I know there's a famous trans person who said that, and I just cannot remember that. I can't remember their name. I'm so sorry, but they said something like change your heart or die, and I'm at that stage now. It's just like you either accept that I play easy mode or just die. Change your heart or die. That's how I
Never
am.
heard that
right
saying
now.
before, but I love it.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, it's
also
just like you either accept trans people, change your heart, or die. That's where I am right now.
Yeah.
also another
except
person.
Except that not everybody's like you, or move on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
another person who wasn't trans but said you must unlearn what you have learned.
I always just thought me playing those things on normal world was my choice, but starting to realize it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what you thought was your choice, but it was pressure.
Yeah, peer pressure.
Yeah. Now, to kind of finally wrap up, because we need to wrap up the show at some point. Loving needs to sleep at some point.
Go to bed.
He's a very sleepy boy.
It's right there.
He's been splashing bandits all day.
I will say that I personally feel there's no defensible argument for this.
No.
And I've seen, we've addressed it. We've addressed like, oh, the game's not for you. Who the fuck's it for then?
Yeah, like nobody.
Nobody. People. It's not for disabled people because they can't do this. It's not for this. It's such
I want my game to be played by a very select audience. You're not going to make many fucking sales, then, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stupid reasoning and also gatekeeping.
It's very dangerously close to the Aryan world for Aryan people.
We don't like gatekeeping in this town.
Yes. Then the argument of it's not for you. Artistic vision, which we are slightly that doesn't make one artistic vision does not make those people involved in that vision immune to criticism of that vision, and doesn't make them.
Yeah, I could say if your artistic vision is so myopic that I don't want any part of it.
Yeah, if it's shit, I'm going to call it out as shit. And especially since there's no compromise at that point.
I mean, there's a reverse of the disconnect between the artist and the art. If a good artist does shit, that art's still shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
See, the Voldemort lady.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
I like that phrase, Voldemort lady.
Are there any other arguments you guys?
Voldemort.
Are there any other arguments you guys have seen from the community that they use that to bring it up? Because those are two that I think about most.
Yeah, I've seen the artistic vision the most at the moment.
Yeah.
When it's just like, bro, you're not. One, you're not the artist. You don't fucking know. And two, it's a shit business. They need to get some glasses. Sorry.
The only artistic vision
Sounds like the developer. Sounds like the artist needs glasses for their artistic vision. Sounds like they need accessibility options.
Yes, Levin.
The only artistic vision that I respect is the one behind Helltaker. That's
Yes, the only artistic vision I respect: big, strong, muscly women with big tits.
What about the argument? Oh, there are plenty of other games out there you can play.
But I want to play this one. Why should I not play this one?
Exactly. You know, it's like, I want to play this one now. Yes, that's such a ridiculous argument. Yeah, there's hundreds,
I've already
thousands.
paid for it.
You know.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, but I want to play this one. This is the only one that does the thing that I want it to. It's like somebody coming up to me and saying like, oh, like I'm like they say to me like, oh, why are you getting so mad that Endless Ocean like doesn't have X, Y, and Z? Like, surely you should go play some other game. And I'm like, yeah, but this is the only one that does the thing that I want. Like, that's the thing. They were like, I could play like, oh, I really want Endless Ocean on the Switch. That'd be really cool. And somebody goes, well, why don't you play Subnautica? That's not the same game.
Yeah, completely different game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a couple of friends who are terrified of deep water.
Yeah.
Subnautica is not in their wheelhouse.
Yeah. Just because it has water doesn't mean it's the same experience.
Yeah, exactly. It's like even Beyond Blue, which is similar. It's similar to Endless Ocean, but it still doesn't have the vibe of Endless Ocean. If I want to play Endless Ocean, I want to play Endless Ocean kind of thing. Like, oh my god, when people say that, we'll just play another game. I can't, because the things that this game offer me are the things that I want. I just...
Also, that's also a ridiculous thing. I come up to you, I've hold this and say, I really want to play this, but I'm having issues with this, and the answer is go play another game. It's like, I didn't come to you with another game. I came to you with this. You know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you came to a customer service support rep and was like, "Hey, I'm trying to play this game and it's not working. I can't get it to boot properly," and they said, just go play another game. It's fine."
Yeah, I mean, you know, our internet service providers, if we ever have internet troubles and you call them, like, I'm having difficulty with my internet. I can't get the internet. And they just reply, try someone else.
How about you go read a book instead?
Yeah, exactly.
But I wanted to see, you know, that's not what I want to do. I want to do this. You know, it's such a ridiculous.
I'm gonna put it right here.
Yeah, I go into hospital. Like, can I have somebody like look at the bone that's sticking out of my neck? You're just like, yeah. Why don't you go down to the pharmacy instead?
You can walk on the other leg.
You.
You can walk on the other leg. It's fine. But it's.
I mean, you go down to the butchers. They know bones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think of any more arguments, but really, that's what it boils down to. Is the only ones I've seen, which makes the argument even more ludicrous, in my opinion.
Stop being conceited dicks, basically.
Yeah, I think I've seen. I think I have one. People won't feel as accomplished overcoming the adversity that I had to go through.
I don't want an accomplishment. That's what my real life is for. I want to play a game.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
That's still judging everyone by your own measure.
It won't be as much as an achievement if it's so easy to get it, and it's just
How about I decide? How about I decide if it's, you know?
There was a time in my life I wanted achievements. I 100%ed Call of Duty 4 on Xbox. I 100%ed all of the achievements for Fallout 3 twice. Once on Xbox, once on PC.
Dang.
I'm done with that now. I'm chill. I've moved on.
Yeah,
everybody will eventually.
Yeah, and also
drifting out on head. Yes, Shadow.
Yeah, and also to that person, it's just like, you know, that's just pixels on the screen, right? You know that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's a nice shiny thing.
This is not real life where Barry is being promoted over you, even though he does less work than you and things, and then you want to complain about it. This is a fucking video game.
It's a game, bro. It's just a game, bro.
And
touch grass.
Drifting absolutely nailed it. Bo, would you like to read out what Drifting says?
Yes. That's the same argument of I had it hard. Why should the kids have it any easier?
That's
Yes.
because that's how
gave
society
Yeah.
works.
Indeed.
I mean, big philosophical point here. That's what civilization is for.
Exactly.
Exactly. Which is what a lot of people currently don't understand.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
civilization
a
is
lot
to
of-
make things
yeah.
easier.
They're like, why do the kids have it easier than me? Because that's what our parents and grandparents sort of like worked for,
That's
so
what's
Yes.
that their
supposed to happen
children would
generation.
have my my grandma lived in a house which did not have central heating. Shit was cold that
Yeah.
night, and if they wanted to have a shit, they went outside in the bucket,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Now, my parents grew up in a house without central heating, but they did have running water, so that's good. And now I've grown up in a house with water, like with running water and central heating. And like, if I ever have children, which I won't, but if I ever do, like, they'll grow up with like access to the internet
AC.
and everything else. Like, they'll be happy. They'll actually have, that's the hope anyway.
Yeah, now we just need to equalize it with the billionaires so that we get the money that we need to survive on all that.
I have a brilliant idea. It's called the guillotine.
Yeah, I know we can follow France on that.
I've seen a documentary once about that. It's called The Purge. We
Yeah.
need to introduce that.
We don't
If-
have
Purge
those.
only for customer service.
I know.
That's
Yes.
the crazy thing. That's the crazy thing about the idea of the movie / Netflix series, The Purge, is they do the purge. How many billionaires die the first night?
0, because they have so much fucking wealth that they can hire the.
Yeah, but how they,
Yeah.
if the people just go, right, fuck it, let's go, and then you've got 500 million people charging at Jeff Bezos. I don't think his security's going to have that.
I don't think he has enough money to hire security for that many people.
We're gonna
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
gonna get some orcas and we're gonna put him on a yacht.
If there are any arguments for any other that we presented, and you want to present them legitimately as a point of notice to us, please join us on the Discord, where you can put an argument. If you are just looking to argue why you think that we're wrong and you're right, and that there's no argument to our debate whatsoever, you can send those thoughts to www.lickmyarse.com.
Or you could go get a hobby. You could go get a hobby, go touch grass. The grass is nice. I mean, it's a bit cold these days, but like, go touch grass. Go touch grass. Take a
Yes.
pick hobby like knitting. Knitting's good
Yeah.
actually. It's very good for the hands.
Like
Yeah.
I will say,
grab a fistful
you-
of dirt, smell the petrichor.
I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to learn and change my mind. However, you're going to have to present a really good argument as to why options shouldn't be provided for people beyond what we've discussed on this show. That is a fucking tall task, and I welcome it. Well, I welcome it to yourself.
Yeah, you're gonna have to find an argument which is basically acknowledges that disabled people exist. Have fun
Yeah,
with that.
have fun with that. And if it comes down to like, oh, well, disabled people should have like certain codes they can put in only for those games. It's like, oh, so only they should get access to it. So now,
That's a bit sus. That's just a little bit sus, treating them like a second-class citizen.
Damn it, I was hoping I would get something. I went to www.lickmyarse.com.
No,
it doesn't
I
exist.
I should set up as a domain.
Can you register the domain?
Put the triple X at the end.
No, I'm not doing that one.
But no, honestly, though, if you do honestly believe that you've got something you can add to this debate in a constructive fashion, not just screw you, you guys are wrong, do feel free to message us on the Discord and join in with the debate, because I'm not beyond changing my mind. I just don't think this is something which I just don't see a defensible position on this, if I'm honest.
Find us on Twitter.
Or find us on Twitter. I am just be warned. I am the dragon will awaken if you're not careful.
Fight us in real life. You can be this guy that flies the plane all around the world and fights people like in Street Fighter.
Yeah, be careful with L. He throws hands.
I throw hands.
It'll be more like the end of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
I get the reference. All right. Well, I think it's time.
People want to kick some ass.
Well, I think it's time we put the show to an end. We'll be back in on the 31st. Given the fact that it's Halloween, we should kind of have like a Halloweeny style topic, I imagine. We'll discuss it and see what we can
think
come up
about it.
with. Yeah, because I'm
I
not a big.
will be in fancy dress, hopefully.
I will not, but that feel free to do it if you wish to, people, audience.
You'll
Mine's-
be able to see me tomorrow
Ah,
on Drifting Lights channel,
oh,
where
Yes.
we will
playing
be
Left 4
playing Left 4 Dead 2.
Yeah!
Oh, nice.
just you two?
Enjoy. Left 4 Dead 2, yes.
No, but just you two. You and drifting.
Depends on if she finds anyone else.
Okay.
That I like the sound of that.
So
Oh, I will be checking that
if
out.
anyone else is interesting,
Wait,
us drifting, you might be able to get in on this.
Yeah, but remember, Elle, we've got the finale for
No.
Ahsoka.
Yeah, we've got Ahsoka to watch. I'm well
Oh,
aware.
yeah, yes. I mean, I'll be watching that before
Yes.
Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
So
It's gonna be a fun time. We've got Ahsoka, and yeah. As for me, I'll be streaming this Thursday. Not sure what I'll be streaming. Most like some Star Wars gubbins, and I'm gonna try and do a. I'll be streaming with Scarf this coming Sunday. I'll be playing the duo one off with him. I'm gonna try and fit in like a big. At some point in the next couple of weeks on a Sunday, I'm gonna try and fit in a big Sly Cooper stream so I can get Sly Cooper 2 done, because there's this little game coming out on the 20th called Spider-Man 2, which I will be streaming. So, yes, I want to make sure I'm done in time for that. So, yeah, fun. Is that something? Yeah. Anyone else want to highlight any streams they're doing?
I have not streamed in a long time, and I probably won't because I need to upgrade my PC. I'm hoping to get like a KVM as well at some point.
Oh yes, audience, send in your donations. Not to me,
No!
but to her.
To
To Shadows.
I will never get my PayPal. Never.
Or just
No, I have enough money for it. It's just
go to the channel and donate bits, okay?
no. You
Yes.
can't do that. I'm not
Oh, yeah,
even
you
a
do.
fucking affidavit. Whatever.
Donate to eBay and he'll transfer that.
yeah, I'll transfer
No.
across.
Yeah, that's
It's-
Do not do that. Do not do that. I will not stream if you do that.
Oh.
Yeah, I will be streaming
I will-
Cyberpunk until I get bored of it.
I will turn up at eBay store and I'll beat him to death with my sword.
That's fine. I can hand the cash to you in person.
What if you're dead?
Then I can write off as a mugging. It's fine.
God fucking damn it! I'm going to leave. I'm going to go and leave, and I'm going to go to Scotland, and you'll never find me again. Fine.
Please, I know my way around Scotland. I'll find you.
Fuck's sake.
Got to think of it. I have a week off in 2 weeks' time. I can get a
Oh, I
boatload
will
of
wake
streaming
up
in.
Nice.
time as well.
I need to arrange a week off at some point in a few weeks'
I've been
time.
asking for the better part of 2 months
Yeah.
for a week off. So I finally got it.
Well,
Yeah, also,
Catch you
chat,
then.
the reason why I've been moving this arm around a lot is I have my flu jab in this arm, and
Oh no!
yeah,
it's
it's,
getting a bit stiff.
Now, if she punches you, you get flu.
I'll certainly make you flu.
Yes, the
Flu
flu
the
jab.
window!
Flu jab.
nice. Love a bit of defenestration.
Yes.
Right. Thank you, everyone. I want
Let me do that window, don't you?
to. Thank you so much all for joining us here tonight at the Commandant's podcast. Also, that's live on the Scratching Post, we scratch the gaming itch. I want to thank my co-hosts for today's podcast, of course, Burr.
Play more games.
Play
Play the games you want to play.
and Shadow.
Hello, with me. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone. We'll see you soon. Ta-da.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a spooky month. Have a very good spooky month.
Spooky.
Bookmas.